If I had to give myself an actual like felt age at this very moment, I would say I feel like 55 or 60 right now. I just feel beat up.
I'm not going to answer this question because it'll make Honda feel bad.
It's tough for me because, like, as I've got older, like, especially from, like, 25 onward, I've gotten a better shape. So, like, I feel younger, but at the same time, like, I realize I'm not because I don't go out and party and drink and shit all the time. So I'm like, I can't say that I feel young like that. So,
My point is the wear and tear. Like,
yeah.
The unnecessary pain that's a result of your years of bodily abuse and neglect and like hard work or whatever it is that you do, like my lower back thing, can't help that. That's because I'm old. My knee, my ankle, my elbow, can't help those. That's because I'm old.
Yeah.
Fucking ribs being bruised, that was work, like that's explainable. But yeah, dude.
That's like, I guess I would say I'm like mid to late 30s, kind of how I feel. Like in the wintertime, I feel older because I have that shoulder injury. So like as it gets colder and shit, or like as rain creeps in, like my shoulder gets all fucked up. So I kind of feel older then than in the summertime when I feel a little bit more youthful and spry, if you will.
Leo, you're only as old as you feel. How old are you?
Man, I feel like I'm about 70.
Yeah, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, right now, let's see. My left foot hurts, both of my knees, and like the part of my upper right leg. So that's how I'm feeling.
It's weird. I had knee surgery on my right knee, which is my good knee that doesn't hurt now.
Huh.
Like that used to be my bad knee. I can only imagine how bad it would be if I never got the surgery.
Leo, when you said left, I just assumed that you were going to say left testicle for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, now that you've had surgery done on your right knee, you should know how to do it on your left knee, right? Like,
well, my right knee required, it was two things. It was a meniscus tear and an ACL tear.
Ooh.
So they had to go in and remove part of the meniscus.
Oh, there you go.
So they had to go in and remove part of the meniscus, and they had to like drill holes and do a bunch of shit for the ACL. The ACL was the hard part. I think my left knee, the only problem is my meniscus. I don't think I have one anymore, is what I think the problem is. Or at least like, because it pops and creaks and does stuff, and if you walk on it too much, it starts to ache, and you can just feel like that bone on bone rubbing, like it's bad.
Yeah.
Welcome to the E-Honda Old Folks Home Chat about things.
That's how my shoulder feels. Is like you can feel like when I'm working out and stuff like that. After so long, like you can feel that bone on bone. It's just like, that's not great.
Right. And Ray, speaking of testicles, I did have mine checked out earlier this year because it was like real sensitive.
After the hooker bit you?
Yeah. And the doctor said that both of my balls are just fine. That's how he said it. He said you have some great balls or something like that. He said you probably just squeezing them, right? He said you probably like, I don't know, like maybe probably pressed up against me. Yeah, sat on it.
Was he like looking you deeply in the eyes when he said that? You have some great.
Actually, I think he was. Yeah. Oh, he said I had a great set of a great pair of balls, something like that. I can't remember. But I was like, okay.
Well, as we all discovered on Matt's chat earlier, redheads have no souls, are afraid of the sun, and don't like the cross. Therefore, they are vampires?
Yes. And therefore, Leo is a vampire and has been lying to all of us.
What do you say, Leo? What say you, sir?
I feel offended that you would call me a vampire, since I run with the Vikings. So
nice.
He runs with the Yankees people.
Yes, I do yell something at the moon. So.
It is fun to go howl at the moon.
Corey Long dropped in $5. That Honda, start the chat. I'm ready to be semi-hard. I mean entertained. LOL. You turd burglar.
I like how you and Matt are running around stealing people's turds.
Yes.
Only the ones that are shaped like Coke cans that can't be flushed.
Oh, that's
Those
horrible.
are the only turds I'm interested in burglaring.
It's like that scene in Joe Dirt, like, I got this meteor. That's not a meteor. That's a piece of shit.
That's a big ball of poopy.
I'm a burglar hobbit.
Burglar hobbit? What's burglar hobbit?
So Honda, how was work?
Oh my god, dude.
I know you had to go in early.
Yeah. 5 days in a row this week I worked. I usually work 3 or 4 days a week, and it's all in a row. Like, usually it's all in a row, unless it's 3 and it's like split up somehow. But 5 days in a row, man. I am not a young lad anymore. That's what I learned.
That's why you're feeling old.
Yep, that's exactly it. Because usually, like, this time on Sunday, I've had the rest of Saturday to sit around and rest and heal up. I had fucking, all Sunday morning and, like, all day up until this point. And I'm starting to feel more human again. Today, nope. It was, like, I had to work until my body was, like, screaming in pain. Like, go lay down. And then I had to keep going for a couple hours after that. It's all good. Daniel says, when you going to quit? I don't know. Maybe start like a workman's compensation case or something first. Like, fuck them, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, or like wait until you're eligible for unemployment again and then do a really bad job until you get fired.
Yeah, you need to quit because it's hard to take you seriously when you're just a server. You know what I mean?
There's no degree in that.
Yeah, I'm obviously not smart enough to get a degree, so
no.
It's a sad
just
state
a server. Yeah.
It's the best job I could ever hope to get. So I don't know what to do. Sit here and sip my coffee and try to be awake enough for a chat. We can look at some Twitter. I got some Twitter stories pulled up.
It's like that scene in Fury, just all the wait staff at the end of the day get back in the kitchen. There's like, best job I ever had.
I gotta go to the spot where we left off.
What kind of coffee you get?
Just Folgers. Name brand, so it's a little more expensive than like the King Soopers brand or whatever. But it's not anything fancy.
It's the best part of waking up.
It's Folgers in your cup.
I had the Folgers Black Silk. Man, that is strong.
So this isn't... Yeah, that's stuff... I don't like the Black Silk. I've tried it. It's gross. That's like for like people who like that really, really, really dark coffee, but it's basically fucking sludge, dude.
I've never tried it, but I am intrigued.
All right, so
it's on Amazon. That's where I bought it from.
This is your neighborhood, Leo. I don't know if it's your neighborhood, but it's Chicago.
Ooh, goody.
So premise is there is a bus driver who's pulled over on the side of the road checking something on the bus, is the story. I don't know what he was checking. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what drew a crowd to him. But here's what happens. Great camera work, by the way. That was a mob of people assaulting and beating a 49-year-old bus driver. I wonder how old he feels right now.
Do you remember that story where I told you on the after chat how I had to stay with that bus driver until until her supervisor came?
Yep.
Was you there for that? Yeah. And that was what, last Sunday?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to start paying bus drivers more for hazard pay or whatever working in Chicago.
And bus drivers need to start carrying.
HBO Matt says, I think Hondo would be an awesome Walmart greeter. Dude, I am getting to that age where, like, jobs like that are like, all I have to do is sit in a chair and say hello. That is the most useless job, though, isn't it? Like, you're not checking people's stuff. You're not, like... I mean, I guess you're kind of directing people sometimes when they're like, I have this lamp and I need to return it and I don't know where to go. You go over there to the left, ma'am. That's the hardest part of your job.
The only thing worse than no job is having a pointless job.
Yeah.
It's like a pity fuck.
Yes and no. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, having that customer service level and stuff like that, I kind of get, but yeah, they don't check anything. Like, half the time you walk in, and they're just like some teenager that's just like, I feel fucking miserable. They don't even say hi. They just kind of look at you.
Today is the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
But back to the bus driver thing. For months now here in the city, they've been all the CTA workers have been trying to get like more like undercover officers on the bus, but the city is saying that they don't have the budget for it.
Well, this is saying that, like, he was hospitalized for his injuries, yada, yada, yada. Attack follows another beating of a CTA employee earlier in the week. So this is the second time this week this shit happened in Chicago. And it would have been a third time if you hadn't fucking, stayed on the bus that night.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Right. It was a grown ass man, messing with a female bus driver. So I just had to stay with her till someone came.
Which of these two do you guys think has been more effective against government overreach? The Libertarian movement or gun culture?
Neither.
Out of those two.
Gun
culture has swept because of 2020.
I'd lean towards gun culture just because it's growing. Like, you're starting to see people on many more, backings kind of start to fold into it. So off like the cuff, that's what I would go with, but
I would have to say gun culture too. Like, really, what have the Libertarians done?
They've tried. They've advanced the conversation. I think that they have expounded upon the meaning of freedom in 2021 and what it means to so many people around the world, that America is the last bastion of this thing called freedom, and we're losing it here. And I think a lot of people, because of their libertarian views, are aware of that. What has it done? I don't know. What does a bunch of people being aware of a huge problem do? Probably something. But as far as which one has been more effective thus far, I would have to lean towards gun culture, because if it wasn't for so many legal, law-abiding United States citizens owning and having and using and knowing about guns, the government would be able to do things like what they're doing in Australia and fucking the UK, where they can just bust into your house without a worry in the world, start throwing people around. Like, you do that in America, you're going to get shot in the fucking teeth, dude. I don't care if you're wearing a badge or not. You come into people's houses without fucking provocation, without good reason, you better fucking bring some body armor. Like, that's just the way it works here. So they're I wouldn't say very, but they're more hesitant to do fucking crazy overreach here in America than they are in other countries. And I think that's bought us enough time to fight these battles in the courts rather than, you know, like Australia where there's, you know, like they can fight it in the court, but meanwhile they're locked down and, you know, thrown in fucking cages and shit.
And to answer Jay Monty's question, yes, I did see that CTA employee that slammed that guy to the ground, defended another employee, and guess what? He got charged with a misdemeanor and lost his job over that for defending one of his employees. So that's the city of Chicago for you. So you can't even defend yourself or your employees over some random dude that's trying to fight one of your employees and harm one of your employees.
Well, like let's say that I'm at my work, right? And someone gets all uppity with me, and then, you know, like they're asked to leave, and I get punched in the face. Am I allowed to punch them back? The answer is no. I can defend myself, but if it's punching them back, they consider that an attack, even if they punched you first.
Ridiculous.
So you just got to sit there and take a punch, and then you take it to court. Like, there was a guy that I worked with. He got punched in the face, like, real fucking hard, dude. Like, lost a tooth, split his fucking mouth open from the inside. Like, he was fucked. He had to go to the hospital and have like oral surgery later and all this other shit. Cost him like thousands of dollars in medical bills that he then had to go to court when this guy had his assault charge thing happen and like plead to the court that maybe they could give him some money out of the restitution that's paid to the court by this guy for the charge that he has. And as far as I know, he never got that money. Because, like, what are you supposed to, like, the dude doesn't pay the restitution, they don't give you the money. And I've even had it, like, there was a time when I was a kid, I got in a fight at my house. Someone came to my house to, like, jump me. It was two dudes, actually. And I beat both of their fucking asses in my driveway, right? And as I was walking away, after beating their asses, to, like, go inside and, like, see if they're still there and call the police or whatever if I have to, they started throwing rocks at, and it wasn't even my house, it was my sister's house. And they fucked up the fucking garage door to the point where she had to get a new garage door, which I don't remember how much that was because it wasn't my money, but it was a lot of money, right? Police got called, dude got caught, had to pay restitution. Did my sister ever get a dime? No.
No.
That restitution that they paid goes to the state, and they do everything that they can to keep it. They, you know, like, you got to, like, fucking go to court and do stuff and file stuff and have a lawyer or something maybe to actually get your fucking restitution paid out, at least in Colorado, at least in my experience. And then there was a time I got a speeding ticket, right? Mail in or whatever it was. I forget what it was. I think I called a number and gave him my credit card information and paid for the ticket. And I went on with life because I paid for the ticket. A year goes by. I get pulled over again a year later for doing a California rolling stop at a stop sign, right? They pulled me over, license, registration, proof of insurance. Here you go, officer. Oh, you have a warrant out. You're under arrest. Hands behind your back. Like, fuck, all right. Like, what is this all about? Oh, it was for that ticket that I paid, that they took my money for, that they never cleared out of their system and issued a bench warrant for me because I hadn't paid it. And then when they finally got paperwork back, like, oh, we caught this guy, here's his information, like, here's for the warrant that you have, blah, 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 right? They were like, oh, shit. He paid for his ticket, actually. We shouldn't have issued that warrant. What happened with that? Well, about a month or two later, I got a letter in the mail saying, sorry about that. If you want your money back from going to jail and being bailed out and all this stuff and my car being impounded and having to get it out, it was like $500 that I had to pay for everything, plus a day of work. So if you want your money back, drive 3 hours across Colorado, show up at this court date at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we'll have a hearing about whether or not we're going to give you your money back. Oh, and by the way, you're going to have to miss another day of work for that too. And I never went because I should have. In retrospect, I should have sued the fuck out of them for that. Or like every penny that I could get. But, I was young and didn't have a lawyer best friend yet. He was still in training. Oy. So this is a priest talking about the New World Order, and I kind of liked it.
People are bowing down right now to the New World Order, who's offering us all this perfect world. We're going to lower the temperature of the globe. We're going to have perfect equality. Unless you get into our idea of equality, then we'll cancel. And I just thought to myself, I'm not bowing down to this idol. It's very interesting. I think it was last month for my Book of the Month Club, I encouraged abandonment to divine providence. And he ends by talking about this idol, this monster of Babylon. He says, the head of gold, the body of silver, brass, and iron is nothing more than the image of clay. A small stone cast at it will scatter it to the four winds of heaven. And when we go through history, we see so many new ideologies that lead to political movements, and everyone thinks this is gonna save the world. And we don't need God, and we certainly don't need the Lord Jesus and his morality and rules. There's this new way of seeing things. And typically, it doesn't last too long. It ends up in killing countless people. We think of communism, we think of the genocide in Rwanda and all the so many other things, because the devil doesn't like Jesus. He wants to get us on another path, and he likes to steal, kill, and destroy. That's the telltale sign. If you're trying to reduce the world's population, if you're trying to destroy family and the bearing of life, that's the devil, okay?
I agree. That's the devil, Bobby Boucher.
The great Satan.
I don't know, man. I keep going back to, is this whole mandate the mark of the beast? Is this what was foretold in prophecy in the book of Revelations that leads to the downfall of man and the second coming of Christ and all that shit? The fuck was that noise?
Oh, that's probably me pouring some tea.
No one have any thoughts at all? Okay, cool. We'll go to the next one.
I don't. I'm not an overly religious person, so I can't even comment on it because I haven't read those books.
Eu vou agitar, ela vai disparar, certo? Disparou acidentalmente.
It's safe.
Tá pronta de novo para outro disparo. Eu vou agitar ela. Disparou acidentalmente. Vai de novo. Disparou acidentalmente. E casquilhou. De novo. De novo.
What the fuck kind of gun is that?
That's what they call the Alec Baldwin.
Sem munição.
No, the way he's talking sounds Russian of some sort.
SDM.
Russian or Turkish.
That's the serial number.
Might be Turkish, yeah.
So check this out. Now he puts the safety on.
Travada. Travada.
It's a really effective safety. I don't know. I thought that was fun. Oh, here's this dude giving his tap water a COVID test. Let's see what happens when the tap water is tested for COVID. I thought it was a pregnancy test at first.
It's kind of what they look like.
Long story short, the water tests positive for COVID.
So he has to segregate the water.
Well, either that means the water supply has COVID in it, which would be terrible, I guess, especially if you're quarantining people and doing stuff, that the water supply itself is spreading COVID, in which case they should probably look into that. Or these instant tests are full of shit and don't actually test anything and give false positive.
Well, I know the instant tests are not the most accurate, because I had, with my last job, we had a COVID scare in the office, and one of my, thankfully it was the week I wasn't in because I had my COVID scare at home, but a bunch of the people went home, and one of the guys that sat near me, he did one of these home tests, and the first test he did came up that he was positive, so he's like, nope, I'm positive, I'm staying home. Second test he did came up negative, so he's like, fuck it, I'm going to go to an actual, Walgreens or CVS or whatever the fuck. They did one, and they're like, no, you don't have it. But his first test came up and showed he was positive. So is that the case here? Maybe.
If you really did want to destroy a nation with a relatively harmless disease, having a whole bunch of Chinese-made testing kits that fucking always read positive would be a way to do that.
Ghost Shadow says, that gun is perfectly fine as long as you don't have Parkinson's or a seizure or appendix theory on a bumpy road.
Imagine Michael J. Fox holding.
I was just going to see you, motherfucker. Michael J. Fox's new movie, Rust. Another employee was hurt by a gun. Jesus.
Fucking Cheddar Bob.
Okay, here's the Nazis marching in. Actually, wait, these aren't Nazis. These are Angela Merkel's fucking current Germans.
Their outfits seem so similar.
Yeah. Let's look at the fucking Nazis some more. Dude, look at these guys. They've even got, the Nazi helmet.
They got this, what are those, the Stelgrams or whatever the fuck the helmets are called? They are... They're carrying torches,
Are they designed by Hugo Boss?
It looks really bad, man.
I mean,
I don't know. I always like the drip.
All I'm saying is, when I saw this, I thought it was like a deep fake or something. Like they'd taken some old Nazi German fucking footage and touched it up to make it look good or something.
They got the patches on the shoulder. No, granted.
The Iron Cross, look at that. They got the Iron Cross still?
The Iron Cross has been around forever. That was before the Nazis, and that stayed after.
Look, they got the eagle. The eagle's on their shit. It's a different eagle, kind of, but it's the same fucking eagle.
All they missing is the skulls.
Yeah, the skulls and the...
Bring back the skulls.
The signs that show that they're electricians. I mean, Pearl Harbor is the 80-year anniversary is here only in a couple days, so, maybe they're getting the band back together.
Oh, Germany is back, baby.
Yeah,
they
Jack
started segregating people in the stores.
Jack Posobiec says, entire media loses minds when Poland holds an Independence Day parade. Meanwhile, in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah. Inside the rally for right-wing presidential candidate Zemmour Eric in wherever Paris, far-left protesters infiltrated and tried to disrupt. They were then attacked. I hate the sound of drinking.
Oh, God damn it.
Your microphone must be 1 inch from your mouth while you're drinking, dude.
Yes, it is.
God fucking damn it. Seriously. Sorry.
Now we know what Honda's weakness noise is. We know Dukes and Hondas now.
Yeah, no, I'll just quit. You start drinking into your microphone, I'm quitting. Or making you quit. I've got the power right now, so don't push me.
I've got the power. Anyways, continue with your friends.
They were then attacked by the rally attendees in scene reminiscent of Trump 2015/2016 rallies.
I mean, to be fair, this kind of looks like a French mosh pit.
Dude, this guy... Here, let me back it up a little bit. Stop unmuting. This guy right here winds up. This is a chick. Boom. Boom. And she goes running off.
I like the fact that the French are getting spicy again.
Do you yell at customers like that, Honda? No, because their microphone isn't playing into my ear.
Honda goes by a table. I hate the sound of drinking.
I just slap the fucking cup out of her hand. Yeah. Fuck you.
There's a kid with like a sippy cup. Honda just yeets it across the restaurant.
No, Honda doesn't. No, Honda doesn't just give them their change back. That's it.
You know, I've done the social experiment with that. So getting change is a pain in the ass when you're busy, right? So you can do one of two things then. You can either give them their change rounded down or their change rounded up. Always round down. Fuck the people. Sorry. Like, you were going to tip me anyway. I've had it where you round up and you give them their change back and they just take all their money and go. So technically you paid to wait on the table. Is that fair? I would rather round down 100 times than round up once and get fucked.
Then you get a write-up.
Waukesha Christmas parade attack suspect Daryl Brooks feels dehumanized in jail. And this dude replies, because people keep calling him a car.
Right. Or an SUV.
Yeah, they keep calling him an SUV.
Good, he should feel dehumanized.
Dude, he needs to be fucking... Like, I know Wisconsin doesn't have death penalty, right? In fact...
I don't know.
When I was looking into
I don't
it...
know.
No, I do know. When I was looking into it, they were one of the first, if not the first state in the entire nation to abolish the death penalty. So that being said, I think they should extradite him and try him in Texas for his crimes.
If only it could work that way.
In memory of Large Marge. Large Marge would have been 84 years old today.
Oh, shit. Pour one out for Large Marge.
Pee Wee Herman. A long time since I saw that movie, but I saw that tweet and I thought it was funny. And I don't know if this is the real Pee Wee Herman on Twitter or if it's just a dude named Pee Wee Herman on Twitter. That's the other question I have about this post. But in memoriam. Okay, this is the door that I want for my apartment. Front door.
So angry.
Well, you got all the time in the world to get ready for whoever's coming through. Like, they would have an easier time busting through the wall and drywall. Dude, there's a point where the guy gets mad and puts down the fucking thing and starts kicking it.
Oh, shit.
Yep, that's the door I want for my front door. How's it going, Matt?
What's up? Word.
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 How's your night going?
Oh, fine. I just didn't have access to my computer till right now.
Yeah, your mom's over? That's cool.
Well, she was. She came over to do some stuff on my computer.
Does she live close to you?
Yeah. I mean, 20 minutes from my house.
That's not bad.
Give or take.
That's nice.
Yeah, she was over for the weekend watching the kids while we were on our mini vacation. So
I think this video has showcased an important point. We should outlaw doors because clearly they're getting cops killed.
Or we should buy more doors.
More doors.
I'll let you imply what you want with that.
I hear that if you have 4 doors, you get more whores.
It's a very compelling argument. Go on. Bob Dole, GOP senator. Bob Dole died at the age of 98 today.
By the way, was anybody else surprised he was still alive?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was legitimately
Somebody
shocked.
told me this in my chat today, and I was like, wait, he was still alive? Because he was like in his 70s when he ran for president in the 90s.
I thought he died at least 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, my only response is, well, good run. You know, like.
As I said.
98 years, man.
As I said, Night Strike sent him home. And for that,
Although my grandma outlived him. My grandma was 101. Baldwin could be criminally culpable for his actions. Did you guys see the fucking interview that he did with whoever it was?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen it.
Did you see the part where he specifically says, well, I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't even pull the trigger.
Yep.
Like, you're a fucking liar. Because here's the thing. Okay, single action revolver. You pull back the hammer halfway and let it go. What happens?
Nothing.
Nothing. You're right. You pull it back all the way and let it go. What happens?
Nothing.
You pull it back a quarter of the way and let it go. What happens?
Nothing.
You pull it back all the way and pull the trigger. What happens?
It goes bang.
Yes.
As I had stated, the only thing that I could see, one of two, if he didn't pull the trigger, one of two things. Either the gun was broken, because I have had a single action firearm that was broken, that you did not need to pull the trigger and like the hammer would go and like engage the firing pin. Or if it was like an old like Colt single action or something like that, you could with those, if you hit the back of the hammer hard enough, fire around. But I don't think he did that.
Well, he didn't say that's what he did. First of all. Second of all,
No.
if the gun is broken, if there's something wrong with the gun, that's very easily provable because they still have the gun in evidence, right? So if there was some sort of malfunction, mechanical problem with the gun, you could look at the gun and be like, oh, this thing has a mechanical problem. That's probably why it shot when it did.
You would think so.
Like, he's going to court and he's going to get a charge for this. And I think he deserves one. Especially with the way that he's been acting, like obfuscating and not taking fucking... Like, he needs to go in front of the camera and be like, I shot her.
It was an accident.
That's it. Just say, I shot her. Yes, I did. But no, you're like, I didn't pull the trigger, though. And, like, the way he says it, I'm just like, fuck you, dude. Like,
Nothing I did was wrong.
It's the rules that are wrong. Yeah, or whatever he fucking said. I don't remember.
That was all lawyer talk.
Oh, yeah.
All his
I'm
lawyers
sure
just told him to say, yeah.
NASA says huge, potentially hazardous asteroid will break into Earth's orbit next week, according to The Hill. But if you go ahead and actually read the article, that's kind of cool. It's going to pass like 250,000 miles away from Earth and not actually hit us and all this stuff. It's the size of the Eiffel Tower, so it's not even like a dinosaur fucking killer. That was 3 miles wide, right? Something like that. I forget how big the one that they say killed the dinosaurs was according to their estimates. I think it was 3 miles wide.
I know it was much bigger than the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it's the Eiffel Tower. But still, that would probably fuck some shit up if it hit us.
I'm still trying to figure out how they came to the conclusion that it was an asteroid that killed the dinosaurs.
Well, if you look at a map, Hold on, let me pull it up. Not email, damn it.
I still think it was Night Strike pulling the strings. Like, he just pulled an Andy and was like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Got rid of the dinosaurs.
Okay, very rudimentary map. Gulf of Mexico. You can kind of see like a circular fucking, circle thing to it in the Gulf.
Yes, I live here,
Okay.
so I know it's a giant crater.
It's a giant fucking crater.
Yeah. That's how we got the Gulf of Mexico. It's a
There you go.
giant crater. Imagine being around when that fucker hit. God damn.
Oh, yeah. Matt missed the Germany bringing back their fancy outfits.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, let's go back and watch that real quick.
The end of an era.
What
With
the
a
fuck?
torchlit parade and a military brass band, Germany's military bid farewell to its chancellor of 16 years.
Angela Merkel?
Yeah. Dude, these people are dressed like straight Nazis. Like, look at these dudes.
Like, they don't even try to hide it anymore.
One of the songs on Angela Merkel's playlist raised some
And they have the tiki torches.
of the songs
Yep.
from East Germany called You Forget the Colour Film by the punk singer Nina Hagen.
Okay, that's enough. Goddamn German Nazis. They're worse than the Illinois Nazis.
I hate Illinois Nazis.
Belgium, tear gas, water cannons fired as thousands of protesters against COVID restrictions in Brussels.
That one dude have a scooter? Yep.
Yep, that would be a scooter. Don't forget, CNN fired Cuomo, but they get the guy they caught jerking off on Zoom still gets to stay. I know I said that on your chat, but it's funny. Oh, here's a close-up of that shit getting punched in the face. Boom. Oh.
Like a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah, like she was trying to crawl over it. He's like, fuck, no, you're not. I got vaccinated, but if you get vaccinated, my vaccination will work gooder. My cat's breath smells like cat's food.
I mean, that's how it works, right?
And I like this story. The Milwaukee dancing grannies are back on parade after their tragedy. What would you call it?
What?
Fucking travesty.
Accident.
I don't like
As
the
the
word
news
accident
would say.
because it's not a fucking accident.
As the news would say, accident.
That's a good story that they're coming back out and stuff.
Well, accident's not the right word. Tragedy is not the right word. Because, like, a tragedy is like, oh no, there was a car crash and the family died. That's such a tragedy, right?
Right.
Which is also an accident.
After their attack, I guess?
A travesty, I think, is the correct word.
Yeah, that one works.
Racial attack. Maybe?
Language
Possibly.
matters. We got a protest outside the Waukesha courthouse in response to the massacre perpetrated by BLM supporter who posted calls for violence against white people, signs saying, "Stop BLM terror, stop anti-white hate, hate crime charges," etc. But then I was looking like, there's like 12 people.
Yeah, like...
Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's like 17 people. And one really shitty car. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Sounds worse than my car.
Seriously.
I feel bad for that person.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Jetson spaceship.
Sounds like he needs a head gasket.
Or a flying car, whatever you call that shit.
I don't know. I want to keep fucking highlighting this shit because the media is not doing it. These are the 6 people that guy murdered that day, including that 8-year-old kid, which is the worst part of it all, in my opinion. Like, it's bad enough kids got hurt, but that 8-year-old kid is now dead, and his parents have to live with the reality of some BLM fucking fuck-ass who decided to mow down a bunch of people in a parade. They're going to live the rest of their life knowing that's how their son died. Like, I don't know how I would deal with that. Not very well, I can tell you that. BLM activist militant says parade killings are just the beginning. Is anyone surprised?
Nope.
No.
Self-proclaimed militant who apparently supports Black Lives Matter took to social media to say the incident at a Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin may be the start of a, quote, revolution. 39-year-old blah, 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 blah. 5 people were killed. Do you mean 6? When was this written? Does it have a fucking date on it?
Yeah, I don't know.
November 23rd. Okay, so it is a little bit old. Okay. Well, there's that. Remember that time that dude blew up downtown Nashville with his RV, and it was out of the news forever, like 2 days later?
Yep.
Whatever happened with that dude? What was the story with that? Do we know?
No, we don't know. We never found out.
Has there been any further developments that I am unaware of? Because I haven't heard shit.
Nope.
That's a little odd, don't you think?
Strange.
Police trying to stop protesters against COVID tyranny. Oh, dude, watch this video.
Tried.
This is in Austria. They're trying and failing. Dude, this is the kind of shit that would be happening in the United States if not for the fact that we have the right to bear arms and they're afraid to fucking push us too hard. In my opinion. Just remember that Republican lawmakers want to make child drag shows illegal.
Yeah. Yes.
And this guy
I don't see a problem with that.
And this guy goes, "What the fuck? I'm a Republican now?" Yeah. I think child drag shows should be illegal, to be honest. Is Ray Ray still here?
No.
Oh, I was going to ask what Ray Ray thought. Well, that's all the stories I got to go over.
Oh, what's Mr. Guns and Deals got?
Well, I'm sure if we... Oh, there he is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... It was the 6th post 27 minutes ago. Does he just sit on his computer all night and like, oh, I found another deal, posted to Twitter?
No, as I said, I think he sits there like a couple nights a week, gets all his ads together, and just schedules them to hit at certain times, and then just, you spend a couple hours like twice a week, you schedule all those posts, and then just let them run their course through the algorithm.
Oh, there's another one.
Jesus Christ.
25 minutes ago. This one was 27 minutes ago. 2 minutes apart. Like, I think if you were scheduling it, it would be like half an hour, and then on the hour, and then half an hour, and then on the, you know what I mean? Like that. Not 9:25, 9:27.
People expect that, though. Like, then they can tell it's, like, I know this from Instagram. Like, you can tell that that's a bot if it's doing shit like that, but if you schedule it where it's oddball minutes and stuff like that. It makes people think like, oh, this person's actually a real person, like that's sitting here and this is what they're doing all the time.
Oh, dude, Saberwolf, thank you for reminding. Whatever happened to that guy who threw the boy off the balcony at the mall? Do you remember that video?
Wait, what? Nah.
Yeah, he's in prison.
Remind me exactly. Wasn't it like some kind of BLM guy who threw like a white kid off of a fucking balcony?
I don't remember what the motivation was, but yeah, it was a guy. I want to say he had some like Muslim sounding name. That
I do remember this now.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
If I remember correctly, I don't know if that was the motivation, but yeah, he grabbed some little kid and threw him 3 or 4 stories down off a balcony.
Yeah, I think it was 3. I could be wrong though.
That's so fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine what you would do to that guy if, like, you're at the mall and you turn around to grab, like, a fucking pretzel or whatever, and you turn back around and you see him throwing your fucking 6-year-old off of the 3rd floor balcony?
He's going over the railing right
like,
after him.
No, what I'm doing is full fucking bull charging him like a linebacker in football and tackling him and, like, making sure that he lands underneath me 3 stories down, hopefully not on the kid. But, you know, I'm a little violent. That white anger I have is raging right now.
Fucking vanilla monkey.
Goddamn Mayo sapien. Let's go Brandon store. Massachusetts. Let's go Brandon store's open.
Holy shit, in North Attleboro. I used to go there all the time.
North Washington Street. Let's go Brandon. Merchandise like hats, shirts, and signs. The phrase "Let's go Brandon" started in October. Blah 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 blah. Brandon Brown, a 20-year dude. We don't need the background. Okay, this is the laziest fucking story.
Yeah, it's North Attleboro. Nothing really exciting happens there, so.
It's this much text plus 4 lines. That's how much they wrote.
They put like the most junior person on, like, hey, you want a story, Billy?
Dude, you could be a junior high kid and write a better story than that, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, guns and deals. How many people did Moderna kill in the first 3 months?
Was it 16,000?
Something like that. Yeah.
Why is that not a story on every news channel from coast to coast?
It's definitely not going to be on CNN.
No.
I was actually watching Stelter earlier today for whatever reason, because he was talking about Cuomo, right? And like, here's how Cuomo got fired, and I really looked into it. I did my journalistic blah 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 blah. You know, like however fucking Stelter talks. And it's funny because he didn't actually say anything about why he got fired at all. He did like a 10-minute story talking about the timing and what happened and this and that about the story. But all of the things that he talked about were already publicly known information. He didn't bring anything new to the story whatsoever. Like, Stelter is such a little fucking piece of shit, dude. CNN is a piece of shit. And if you watch CNN anything other than ironically, like, you're a piece of shit. Yankee, fuck you. Stop watching CNN, piece of shit.
And MSNBC. Yeah, throw them. If you're watching MSNBC, you're a piece of shit.
Dude, according to this map, Greenland is bigger than South America. Greenland is bigger than Africa. Dude, Greenland must be huge.
That's not.
I know it's not. It's just like you'd think that they would make it somewhat to scale, even though it has to be blown up at the edges. But then you look at South America, it's like that's not bigger. They just wanted to make Greenland huge.
And Texas is too small. needs to be bigger.
Daniel says Yankee is CNN light. I don't know. Yankee has some positions that I agree with, like his views on the Second Amendment and the absolute nature of that, and how it says specifically shall not be infringed, and any infringement upon that fucking right of the American people is directly a fucking like opposite of what the fucking amendment is supposed to guarantee, right? Sorry, that was hard to say. I don't know why. But CNN wouldn't agree with that. CNN would be like, oh, well, you know, it does say regulated, which means we can regulate it, right? I don't know. We should rewrite the fucking Constitution in clear modern day English with the original intent and meaning in mind when they do it. Man, you guys are talkative tonight.
I mean, there's really nothing to... I mean, we've been talkative for most of the night. Just the last two topics.
Yeah, all that sipping in my ear. God. Jesus.
Fucking sipping.
Hold on. Gotta turn up all the gain. How was that for you?
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's an annoying sound, isn't it? I really honestly think it is.
Not really. It's kind of soothing.
Sounds like you need a Sprite cranberry.
What the fuck?
Someone at an airport?
Right.
God
you
damn.
putting the vacuum cleaner up to the mic.
That's what it sounds like when I turn up my gain.
God damn.
See, what you need to do is do that and then take like a drink right next to your microphone.
I have no liquid in here.
Oh, well then show's off. I guess we're done for the night. Daniel dropped in $2 and said he's also an ally to the commie anti-DMFs. Yeah, he did say that when he got his phone slapped out of his hand. But do you think he was saying that because he didn't want to get punched next?
Probably. More like to de-escalate the situation.
I'm an ally!
No, I don't think so. I mean, like, so I've talked to him about that shit. Like, basically, those two guys were, I think he assumed, more of a BLM nature than an Antifa nature. I think he assumed that because they were black. And he was saying he was an ally to BLM, which I think he probably is. Like, and because I've talked to him about this, I don't think he's an ally to like fucking the organization, but the movement. I know he agrees with the idea that cops are going after black people and shit like that. I know he agrees with that.
I think that you need to take race out of it if you really want to solve this problem. And the problem, and the way I see it, is an unjust use of force by the police. They've been given license to just go in and fucking do what they want. And for years it's been that way. And it doesn't matter white, black, Hispanic, whoever it is that they're using it against. I don't think that matters so much as the injustice that the police are doing in the first place.
I agree.
And if you add race to it, you divide the people who would be in support of that movement, right? Because there's a lot of people who would support the movement of de-escalating police violence through changing policy and procedure and things like that. Way more people would be on board with that than Black Lives Matter, fucking fry like bacon and all that stuff that they do, and like smashing cities and doing all that. Like, that's what's turned a whole bunch of people against Black Lives Matter, who actually, I think, do have a point. But the way that they express that point brings opposition.
Agreed. Because there's a lot of things that you and I and most of all of us in here would agree with your average Black Lives Matter protester as far as what they're trying to say. Like the point they're trying to make as far as the problem with cops and that kind of shit. I think most of us would all agree with a lot of the shit that's going on. The organization's a fucking communist piece of shit organization. But like the average protester who isn't looking, paying attention to what the Black Lives Matter organization is doing behind closed doors and how they're talking about Marxism and shit like that. But like the average person that goes to a fucking protest for Black Lives Matter, like I think we would all agree with the fact that there's a fucking problem with police in this country.
Yeah.
Like there's a fucking problem. I get it. Like, but the stuff's being injected into it and being pushed in a way to where that's the thing. They don't want those of us that are on, of one particular ideology ever getting along with anybody that would be protesting this stuff. They want them to think we're all just a bunch of fucking racists and all that shit, and that we must be. Well, I'm not going to say that there's not racists, and I'm also not going to say there aren't fucking bootlickers for some reason. I don't know why. There's all these fucking back the blue fucking Blue Lives Matter bullshit. Like, but there are. I get it.
Well, I think with that part of it, there's some truth to what the back the blue bootlicker people are saying, and that truth is, what does our society look like without the rule of law? And I think when it boils down to it, that's the point that they're making, is police uphold the rule of law. Without police, we wouldn't have rule of law. Without rule of law, this country would be a shithole. Therefore, I support the police.
I mean, I've heard a couple of people make that argument, but the vast majority of people I've heard talk that are like Blue Lives Matter supporters just go on and on and on, slobbering all over their dicks, talking about how they have a dangerous job and they want to go home to their families at the end of the day and blah 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 blah. Well, then do something else, motherfucker. Like you don't hear fucking crab fishermen up in the fucking with one of the highest death rates in all vocations. You don't hear them bitching about we fucking crabs and why you just eat, why can't you just pay more money for crabs so I can make more money but not eat it or whatever the fucking equivalent argument would be. They're like, I'm doing a dangerous job. I fucking know I'm doing a dangerous job, but oil rig workers, like there's so many jobs. We looked at it one time. Being a cop was the 25th or 26th most dangerous job in the United States of America. Now, I get it. That's way, way more than an accountant, but there's still a lot of other people, a lot of other vocations that are way more dangerous and way more deadly that you don't hear them bitching about it because they know what their fucking job is. They chose that fucking job.
Wasn't the guy from Falling Down an accountant?
I don't remember. He looked like one. But, but no, seriously, because like they're sitting there and they're talking about how they should have the right to fucking just freak out and shoot somebody if they for a split second think, my life might be in danger. My life's in danger every time I walk out of the door wearing this uniform. And blah, blah. Well, that's the job, dude. That doesn't give you the right to just fucking put on an us versus them mentality and think that you're better than everybody else. Because guess what? You're not. You're a civil servant. Everybody's like, well, it's us versus civilian. You're a civilian, motherfucker. You're just a cop. You're nothing special. Like you do a job. Cool. But we've even moved to the point to where you're not even there to protect and serve anymore. You're law enforcement. So guess what? I don't give a shit. Okay? You should not have qualified immunity. You shouldn't have the fucking right to sit there and choose your life over somebody else's when you're the one that chose that fucking job, unless that person truly fucking deserves it. Because there is a problem, and it's happening to people of all colors, where people are getting killed and murdered by police unjustly.
I think where the line gets blurred is where right to self-defense, right, for police. Because they still have the right to self-defense.
Oh, absolutely.
Any person does in society. And when they have to exercise that right to self-defense, it's like blown up in the media. But then the other side of the coin is when they didn't need to use that force and they did.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And I think that like if we could separate those two out, that would be a good start, Like
it would be.
That dude who got shot in his car because he told the police officer that he had a concealed
Philando Castile
weapon. Right.
Yeah.
Did nothing wrong.
Nothing.
Didn't deserve that at all. Like what happened to the cop in that situation?
I don't remember what happened to the cop, honestly.
Oh, let's look that up. Fernando Castile.
Philandro.
Well, you know
I
what?
think it's Philandro. I might fuck that up. Castillo.
But you know what? Since the cop
think
was
you're correct.
Asian, it's not as big as if it was a white cop who did it.
What happened to the police officer? Cop. Officer who shot Flannery Castillo acquitted of manslaughter charges.
Oh, he got acquitted of just straight up murdering a dude.
A jury
That's
has
interesting.
acquitted a Minnesota police officer in the shooting death of black man outside St. Paul last year, putting an end to the tragic saga that began with a routine traffic stop. How did he get acquitted for that shit?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Okay, how did he get acquitted and fucking Rittenhouse was even a question? Again, we're looking at two different fucking tiers of justice. One for if you're a civilian, and another for if you're not. If you're one of the fucking... Like, there was a story about a Homeland Security officer who got in an argument with some guy at a bar, followed him out to his car, started arguing with him and pounding on his window. The dude was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Put his car in reverse. He then pulled his service weapon and pulled the trigger. But there was a malfunction. So the dude would have been dead over an argument, right? Cops get called. He gets arrested. The guy who almost gets shot because he got in an argument with a Homeland Security officer who then tried to murder him, right? Fucking, they find video from the parking lot. Like the venue had some sort of security system where they had video of the parking lot. Saw what happened in the video. Released the guy, who then fucking went to a lawyer and tried to like press charges or something against the Homeland Security guy, only to find, oh, he's immune from any kind of reprimand or charges that a civilian could bring against him.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was... Okay.
Yeah, I forget the whole story exactly, but that's the gist of it. Like, nothing I said is not true right there. There's more details to it than that, but that's the gist of it.
Verify your sources.
No, fuck you. Oh, I can't read things and remember it because I'm just a server. If I read something and I remember it, then it's automatically in question because of my vocation. Got it. We'll do these super chats real quick. Joey Savoy said, so will there be a rise up of people once all the world's powers have been connections to the Epstein make public? No, because the prosecutor in the Ghislaine Maxwell case is the daughter of who? Anyone?
I don't remember.
James Comey.
No, I don't remember.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, okay.
James Comey's daughter, the fucking disgraced ex-head of the FBI, or was it CIA? It was one of the two.
FBI.
Yeah. Disgraced ex-head of the FBI. His daughter is in charge of this prosecution. So
Wow,
when you're the
I did not know
prosecutor, it's your job to bring in state's evidence against the person, to make the connections, and to bring that evidence in court, right? But if you were, let's say, motivated by some reason to not bring evidence about certain subjects and you're the prosecutor, guess who has the power to do that? Oh, you do. That's right. That guy, that bitch-slapped Yankee, had a hammersickle hat? Oh, he was a communist. That's nice.
And Yankee was an ally.
Government loves to absolve itself of accountability. Again, talking about the Homeland Security guy, yeah. In fact, he is literally immune from those charges. Cops can do nothing. Can't touch him. Like his supervisor could. But what is a regular person going to do? You know? Like write a letter to his supervisor and hope that he actually listens to you? No, they're not going to, because they don't give a fuck about you. They have their in-group preference, which is people who are in my department or work at this kind of fucking job for the state. Those are the people that I protect. Those are the people that I care about. And those are the people that I'm going to stick my neck out for, not you little fucking peon person who happened to almost get shot that night.
Yep, you can file a complaint all you want to. Nothing's gonna happen.
Sissy Dream says James Comey has a net worth of $16 million. The prick laughs himself to sleep every night. What was that other dude? It wasn't Comey. Wait, let me look up a picture of Comey. No, it wasn't Comey. It was the other guy. Oh, what was his name? Peter Strzok?
Oh, did he just kick himself out?
Whoopsie daisies.
What the hell?
Oh,
Dude, stop pushing buttons, bro.
You did that one. See, I can do the same thing to you. Oh, hey, Mr. Sam. It's
Hey, how's it going?
good. Good.
It's good to be back on, man.
It's good to have you on. How's things?
Yeah, just busy Christmas stuff, you know. So that's how it is. But actually, when you're talking about the qualified immunity thing, I really, really wanted to pop on and talk about that, especially kind of how I would say the metro area police have been getting away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Have you been following what happened in Arvada this last summer at all? A little bit with John Hurley.
Was that the one where the guy stopped the mass shooter and then got shot by the police?
Yeah. So, because you know what? Yeah. So, yeah, it was kind of swept under the rug and memory hold a little bit outside of kind of the local area. Because I live in Arvada. It's really weird because me and Hurley ran in the same circles a little bit, like ancillarily, you know, politically, because we're both libertarians. And I live in Old Town Arvada, and I was actually walking my dog when that happened. I was actually leaving there, and like 15 minutes later, all the cops were rushing there. I was actually at the same store he was at, that Army Navy, that afternoon when that happened. Yeah, it just tripped me out because it's like, you know, there's a guy very similar to me, you know, close to the same age. You know, he was 40, I'm 38. You know, concealed carry holder, Jefferson County, Libertarian. You know, I've seen him at a couple events there and stuff.
Dude, and, I don't feel like there's that many of us out here in Colorado. Maybe it's because like we don't have the opportunity to connect with one another.
Exactly.
I don't know, like if there's any libertarian community in Colorado that gets together and does stuff. Like maybe that's my fault for not looking into it. Mm-hmm. But like when you talk to the average person on the street, almost guaranteed they're fucking stupid lefty, propagandized, don't know shit about anything, you know, who are just going along with the flow based upon what they heard on CNN or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, it's I think like I was talking with my friend last night because I went over to her house and just, you know, uninstalled a dishwasher and doing stuff because, you know, she doesn't have a man in her life, so I'm, you know, makeshift friend man, I guess. But
just trying to fill the hole. Got it.
Exactly. Yeah, only I don't get to fill a hole, the one I want. Anyway, point being, so we did talk. Like the thing is, though, she's just spouting out all the propaganda points and stuff, and like I'm just like questioning everything she's asking. And she's like, "Oh, well, why doesn't everyone just get the shot?" And I'm like, "Well, first off, I think you're being pretty myopic. I mean, the Tuskegee experiment wasn't even that fucking long ago. Like, you know, like just looking at like, I mean, look at how the government has experimented with people, like just historically in the 20th century alone.
Yeah.
It just in the last 50 years, the last 40 years of like even of the 20th century. So, yeah.
Dude, most people don't know, if you go back to the 50s and 60s, the government was doing experiments on people without their knowledge, where they would inject them with plutonium or uranium or other fucking toxic or like, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Fucking substances that will kill you.
Yes, that was actually Bill Clinton actually absolved the government of that. Actually, that was one of his things. It's not really highly known about unless you're like into the MUFON UFO community a little bit, but like there was a lawsuit against the federal government for 2 employees who worked at the Groom Lake facility, Area 51. And because they were told to burn whatever, experimental material, right? Burning experimental material out in the desert, right? They're just grunts that work out there, right? So anyway, they got super cancer basically. Obviously you can look this up for yourself, but they got pretty much super cancer. And they were suing the federal government. This is in the 90s, and this happened during the Reagan administration, Bush administration, and the Clinton administration. And they actually were just 2 incidents of most soldiers who worked at that point were very much die for their country includes being experimented on with Agent Orange or whatever, But these is no, this is screwed up. We're breathing in these nasty fumes. Now we have super lung cancer. And so, but Bill Clinton did this thing where it kind of gave the government, the federal government, more, again, back to the same subject, qualified immunity. So because it was government secrets, national security was at stake at the, this Air Force base, that, they weren't tried. They weren't held accountable for the toxic, and in other words, there's no OSHA violation because, there was no safety protocols for a secret government facility. So.
Yeah, I was talking about, it was post World War II. They were doing experiments on children in the United States by injecting them with plutonium or uranium or other irradiated substances. And then of different amounts too. So they would give one kid 1/10 of a milligram, and they would give another kid 1/100 of a milligram, and they would give another kid 1 milligram, and then see what their survivability is, track their health secretly. So every time they would bring the kid back to the doctor because he's got health problems now, they would just make notes about this and that, and then give them whatever treatment they, would prescribe to the kid or whatever, but they wouldn't tell the parents about this fucking secret program that they've got going on. And it was certain hospitals in the Midwest during the 40s, 50s, and I think it ended in the early 60s.
Oh yeah. There's a famous case actually of this. It's not exactly what we're talking about, but it was during the same era. This is a common medical practice apparently. There's actually a book out there, and it's called The Woman Who Was Everywhere or something like that. It's a true story. This woman goes to this doctor. She has pretty much cervical cancer. This is in the 40s, and anyway, as opposed to treating her for it, the doctors, the medical, because she went to a medical research hospital. I think because her husband was in the Navy or something like that. Anyway, so they took the cells and kept growing the cells and done experiments on them. And even to this day, her cells we have vestigial vaccines and things like that. But they didn't treat her. They actually wanted the tumors to grow, and they kept harvesting tumor cells. So yeah, it's a very and yet her family, and I guess you would say her descendants haven't seen one dime of it. Nothing. They did not want apology from any of the federal health organizations. Nothing.
Is that the one where the chick's fucking tumor cells don't die?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So they basically live forever, and they can just keep multiplying, and they can just cut off a little piece and start growing that too, and the tumor just keeps growing.
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember.
That. Yeah, so I mean, this is a common practice, obviously, and I really don't think that pretty much any federal scientific funding has even. I don't think they've gotten more ethical as time has progressed, as people like to think they have for some reason.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is look at the Moderna statistics that just came out the other day. How many people died in the first 3 months of this medical fucking experiment?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's staggering. And the thing is, though, it's just with the double speak that's happening, I'm just amazed that the amount of blind tribalism, the people not just thinking critically for themselves at the evidence being presented.
Well, it's also the gaslighting that goes on, right? Because they
oh yeah,
you're hey, I know a couple people who had this problem after getting the shot or whatever, and they're like, you're an anti-vaxxer. You don't believe science.
Yeah, I actually got a little bit of that last night, and if it wasn't for the fact that I just did, because she refused to ever get married or settle down on one guy, I was over there late at night, uninstalling her cabinets in her dishwasher. So, but yet she had the gall to call me just some sort of anti-vaxxer. She's I think she full on said to me, "Fuck your freedom." Yeah, so
Like, oh, fuck your fucking dishwasher. Like,
exactly. Yeah, I found that it ironic, and then but then the conversation eventually calmed down. But she just refused, like, because she won't listen to me, because she always, like, all these people, all they do immediately, even when confronted with a illogical doublespeak, they immediately fall back on the appeal to authority argument. And so that's much like a few weeks ago with that one guy, I don't remember who it was, like on your chat, but the appeal to authority fallacy. And it's just really sad they don't teach people how to think or debate, like, in school.
And that's what I was saying with that whole thing, man. Like, attack an argument, attack a statistic, attack a fact that I've said, but you don't get to attack me because of my background or whatever. You have to attack my argument, because attacking me, that's the definition of ad hominem, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, you're not making an argument specifically, which is the thing that I would like you to do. If you're gonna disagree with me, at least have a fucking point.
I mean, yeah, exactly, because what they're essentially doing is, like, they'll inflate your argument, create a straw man that's, like, basically not even related or, like, not even correlated, and just beat up on that, and then affiliate you with that. So it's not even. Yeah.
Well, it's a trap, is what it is, because they've switched the argument, and then they try to get you to defend the thing that you didn't say. And if you bite into it, then you start defending the thing that they brought the argument to, and then they got you because that's what they wanted you to do, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then the thing is, though, it's just like, that's why I feel like I kind of lucked out in life by going into speech and debate in high school. Like, I think that actually taught me more about life than any other class I ever took. Like, more. I use speech and debate, like, more often in my life, in, like, every circumstance, whether professionally or personally, than, like, algebra or calculus or whatever. So
that's funny. I was on the debate team in high school too.
Hey, well, we're pretty close to the same age. I wonder if we debated each other.
What school did you go to?
I went to Faith.
Okay, Ponderosa.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I think we did. Yeah, like, did you guys go to Nebraska in 98, 99 for, like, that, for Nebraska or Wyoming for a speech and debate thing, or were you all just Colorado?
I think I was only on the debate team in 97.
Oh, okay.
I only did it for a year.
Oh, okay. So then we just missed each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm a year younger than you. I'm 30. I'm BB 39 here. So.
Yeah, it was my freshman year of high school that I did.
Oh man, we just missed each other then. Because I remember we did debate against Ponderosa, Ralston Valley, and all that stuff. So.
It was fun though. It was a great experience, and I really took a lot from it in having an argument with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, it really breaks down the difference between, like, what is and is not an argument, and, like, what the different types of non-arguments are and how to refute them and things like that. It's nice. It's a good fucking skill to have.
I think it should be required, not an elective. Because between that and critical thinking, like, I mean, real critical thinking, not like indoctrination critical thinking, which is just believe the news, But yeah, I think, like, I don't know. I think me and you were probably the last elements of what was that kind of free thinking, instruction in those classes.
It's amazing to me how much Colorado has changed since we were in high school.
Right? Oh God, yeah.
Because, like, yeah. I mean, I blame a lot of it on the marijuana thing. We passed, like, we were the first state to have free legal weed. Not free, but it's legal weed. You can come here.
You don't have to have a fake med card. Yeah, exactly.
And because of that, we imported everyone from every other state who was willing to cross state lines so that they could smoke weed without being harassed, right? Which, in principle, is fine, except for a lot of those people brought a lot of the other problems that they had with them.
Exactly. I mean, let's put it this way. People who your entire life's mission is you're just get high next. You're not really being a very, I would say, productive person in general. Your aspirations are only about, I'm not saying it's wrong. Like, you could do that. That's fine. That's your life. That's your choice. But they're not in general very contributing towards society. Like, I mean, they're just trying to get enough by just so they can, I'm just here to smoke weed, and, like, I think that element of it was, like, the only saving grace of, like, Colorado was actually also the influence of, like, the tech thing, which was kind of shady how that all worked out, but importing a lot of tech people, like a lot of tech overlords here, you know. Yeah, because when I was working construction, like remodeling a Facebook building, which was the old King Supers downtown, and then they moved to 16th Street Mall. But like, I mean, that was the only thing that kept Colorado, I would say, sustainable, because like, you know, working like, you know, for, you know, delivery companies like FedEx or things like that, you had to take a piss test, because private companies could still discriminate based off of, you know, can you pass a P test, right? And so
they still do, though. I mean, like, try to have a workman's compensation case in Colorado if you smoke weed. Because workman's compensation is still a federal thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
it is.
And one of the stipulations is, did you pass a drug test like on your injury day or whatever?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because every time I've gotten hurt on the job, like, yeah, I've had to go in and take a piss test. Or actually, the last time I got hurt on a job before COVID, and when I was working for a heavy equipment company, they actually even took hair follicle sample and blood test for it as well. Because
well, it would make sense if it was like a breathalyzer, right? Like, are you drunk right now? Okay, let's test. Well, being drunk right now probably contributed to your accident, therefore it makes sense. But when it comes to marijuana, you can smoke a month ago and still piss hot, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, because it's fat soluble, the THCs. And, yeah, so, I mean, and I agree with Matt. Yeah, Matt, it's real-time love connection. I agree, Matt. Yeah. But I love you, Matt.
By the way, I believe we are all anti-vaxxers by definition, because here's the Merriam-Webster's definition of anti-vaxxer: a person who opposes the use of vaccines or regulations mandating vaccination.
Yeah, I oppose regulation mandating vaccination. I don't oppose vaccine.
Yeah, and that's so we're all anti-vaxxers by definition.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That hasn't always been the definition, though.
Well, damn.
I know it hasn't. They changed the definition recently because they wanted to change the definition, because that's what they do.
Yeah,
they changed the definition of gain-of-function research so that Fauci could go in front of the fucking Senate and lie again, but actually be backed because his definitions are correct.
Yeah. I don't know. I just find it really scrupulous that it's suspicious that they're can ghost edit like that and then it'd be still legally definable. That's, especially under oath, I think that's really spurious.
Well, and they sent it off to I forget, whoever's in charge of actually bringing charges, Department of something or other. And they're not going to bring charges against him. They're just not, even though it was like blatantly obvious that he's lying. But if you're Roger Stone or someone else, they'll fucking kick in your door with boot-thugged fucking like raiders of the, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to get you.
Yeah.
Which is the scary thing. Like, that's the definition of tyranny, is fucking unequal application of the law depending on who you are, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's really like when you take a step back and really examine things like that. Yeah, like, you know, they're going to go into like, you know, Duncan Lemp, right? I was like, because this kind of relates back to earlier what you're talking about. But, you know, like during 2020, that summer, it started off, you had this like horrific, basically murder of Duncan Lemp, and like the gun, you know, and his pregnant girlfriend who was sleeping next to him shot through his window. I mean, they like went after this kid, you know, I say kid, but he's like, you know, this 20-something-year-old in suburbia, like you know, they sent out the SWAT team like the Iraqi embassy, you know, they like have, you know, a whole fleet of, because he took their justification for their warrant was he took a picture with him holding an AR-15 going shooting with some of his buddies who happened to be in like a quote unquote their definition of a militia. Yeah, and Duncan Lemp thing, but yeah, like that got memory hold really fast because right after that, Ahmaud Arbery happened, and right after that, then Ahmaud Arbery didn't work out the way they planned. So then George Floyd happened, and then, that got him riled. You know, like it was just like, I'm like, I'm looking at it, but like, how come, like, you know, look at like Duncan Lemp, you know, or like I think earlier in the chat someone mentioned like, you know, like the guy in Arizona hotel that was crawling on his knees begging for his life, and the cop, you know, shot him.
Yeah.
So
that was fucked up, dude.
Yeah, and the thing is, Duncan Lemp is just like, I guess he was on quote unquote their watch list because he did some podcasts talking about cryptocurrency and 3D printing firearms, which is something I'm interested in, and just home building and things like that. And yet, yeah.
I wonder how many lists we are on for having these chats, Matt.
all the lists.
The lizard people are sharpening their knives for us.
I think it's the right side of history to be on. Like, if you're on a list right now, in 100 years, they're going to look back at this time and be like, all of these names of these people were the ones who actually stood up to tyranny, to the government, to the over-fucking reaching power, and said, fuck you. These are the people that you should be like.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the cop that shot the guy in the hotel? Like, whatever happened to him?
I think he was acquitted because the dude was reaching for his waistband because his shorts were falling off as he was crawling, right? So he reached to pull his shorts up as he was crawling, and that's when he shot him because he felt like his life was in danger at that instant and then fired, which is the definition of self-defense. It's your perception that you are in imminent danger of great bodily harm or death. And so the report was that the guy had a gun. That's why they were called to the fucking hotel room in the first place. And since the information was that this guy had a gun and they didn't know what kind, him reaching for his waistband was justification enough to shoot him dead right then. So yeah.
Right. Even though he put him towards I remember he wanted him to crawl on his knees while his hands was behind his head. Do all this stuff an average person couldn't even do in the first place.
I don't know. If the cops ever pull guns on me and they're like, get down on your face and do this, I'm just going to get down and not move. Give me orders, I'm not moving. Sorry. You can come get me.
Yeah. Because when I was watching that, plus he was also drunk. So the whole story is from the witnesses' perspective who were there with him in that hotel room. He had a BB gun. And they were shooting at woodpeckers or something like that. They were just having, that's why he had the BB gun, because he was an exterminator and had to shoot woodpeckers. And anyway, they're in the hotel room. They thought, it'd be fun, kind of plink with a BB gun, which I think we can all agree would be fun, but maybe not the brightest thing to do. But they were drinking that night in their hotel room, because there's 5 other people in that hotel room. So the cops come, they know other people are down the hallway and stuff. But when he's crawling out, though, you got to understand the guy is also pretty inebriated too. And so he was also terrified, because you're looking at pretty much the full force of a SWAT team, right?
Yeah.
And, so he's drunk, terrified, doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't think he was doing anything wrong. So it's also surprised. And then he's trying to follow his directions while slightly drunk. Well, or heavily drunk. I don't remember what the toxicology came back, but you could definitely tell he was, So I really, It didn't really help the cops case though with that that custom dust cover.
Yeah, I forget what it said. It was like you're fucked or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it said. It's
that.
Yeah, if you have a service weapon.
Have you ever had cops pull guns and point them at you before? Anybody?
Plenty of times.
I've had cops sit there and undo the level 3 holster and put their hand on it and say, don't fucking move. But that's about as close. They didn't actually pull the gun.
I've been kicked and hit plenty of times.
I've had cops pull the guns on me with the flashlight so I couldn't see that they were guns. And I just had my hands on the steering wheel. I'm not moving. And then it wasn't until they got beside the car that I realized that that's not a flashlight. That's a gun that you've had pointed at me this whole time. And I was pretty upset, angry that they were doing that. I had done nothing wrong. You caught me for speeding, but it turns out that it wasn't for speeding. It was because my car matched the description of a car that just committed a crime and they were looking for the guy. But then they got up next to the car and saw that I wasn't matching the description of the person that they were looking for. And then they put their guns away real quick. So
was the person black?
I did not ask. But I mean, maybe.
They walked up to the car. They went, oh, he's white. Sorry, sir.
Was the cop last name? Was the cop last name was Nipple?
Oh, dude, check this guy out.
Oh, is that the superhero?
You got 35 with us.
Yeah.
What is that? Ooh, someone.
Bud K special.
Let me see what other thing. Who do you think you is? Hold on, wait. Let me show you with it. Boy, this nigga.
Oh man, he's the entire Bud K catalog on him.
Yep.
Holy shit! Is that Blade? But only 5'6"?
Blade's cousin Butterknife.
Oh. His little brother's called Spoonie. Oh man. Oh, that's so funny.
So what happened with those cops in Thornton who shot that guy? Did they ever get in trouble for doing it? I guess probably not, because he had a gun and they were looking for a mass shooter right then.
Yeah. So this is what my research has done. Like, you gotta understand, it was Arvada, by the way. Old Town Arvada. Yeah. So the APD, they kind of got ahead of it by like, they said like immediately right after the first announcement, 3 hours later, because like my house is on lockdown because I live 2 blocks away from that shooting happened. Like, I was walking my dog while the shooting was happening. Like, I just left that area. So what happened is APD kind of got ahead of it, and they said that he was, a good Samaritan, unfortunately died, and we didn't know how. I thought actually the mass shooter guy, or the attempted mass shooter guy, I should say attempted, because he only killed he only killed one person, actually, according to the video footage, when he shot Officer Beasley, who was a good cop, right? So he shot Officer Beasley. John Hurley ran from the Army Navy right across the street, because it's like a walking mall now in that area. Killed the shooter, and then went over to get the AR-15 from the guy, and another police officer, because they had cops in the area, rolled up and shot Hurley because he was trying to disarm the attempted mass shooter.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. But their APD, like 3 hours after, when first things, the Good Samaritan died, and so they did honor Hurley, but no one understood how he died and stuff like that. And then 6 months later, pretty much, like I guess it was saying about like end of September, like that's kind of when information finally came forward that it was an unnamed Arvada police officer who did kill John Hurley.
I thought that information came out pretty quickly afterwards that the police shot the guy.
Well, the video footage. Sorry, the video footage finally came out like way.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. We could actually see how everything went, but the problem is though, is like we still don't know who the officer was. The officer was never charged. They weren't reprimanded or anything like that. And that's all. And then every time like APD has been reached out to by legitimate press, quote unquote, when I say legitimate, authoritative press, they just say we have nothing further to comment on this tragedy. That's all they say. So. And the thing is, why it screwed with my head is because I lived in the area. I'm a similar guy to John Hurley, concealed carry, go to the same store. I was just at that store with my dog, and just even if you do the right thing, because we don't know, because we've only gotten one side of it. The cop said, "Oh, we thought he was because he had a gun out." Now, I know in training and stuff they tell us to once you neutralize the threat, you immediately put you're compliant, put your firearm away and stuff like that. But we don't know how quickly that the other cop came up, and while he was still neutralizing you know what I mean? There's none of that details have come out. So that's why it's a little frustrating for me. Kind of messes with my head, and as a guy who does conceal carry, because I'm not going to wait 3 minutes for the cops to show up when something bad happens immediately.
That's the thought that I've had, because like at work, for instance, if something happened and I pulled out my CCW and fucking took care of the threat, now you are a target for the police coming in because you were the one person left standing who has a gun. So you better put that shit away.
Right.
But if it happens to be you're in the process of eliminating the threat and they see you and not the threat, then you're the threat.
Exactly.
Right.
Can I just point out this guy's fucking scoped revolver real quick?
Wait. Seriously? Oh, man.
Dude, that was after these, right? After that, he's got my Wolverine claws.
Oh man.
You a black angel.
There could be only one Highlander.
Oh man, that's a bad choice for having a concealed weapon, though, is a scoped fucking revolver. Like, how far are you trying to shoot somebody at, man?
Oh man, like where is he? Like it's like 1938, and he's like, I got my 38 revolver. See,
My man is in definitely fantasy land right now. Definitely fantasy land.
That's great. The way he looks and then points, like,
oh, flag,
right
man.
there. He's like, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, dad has all black eyes on him. Like, what happened? My son squirt gunned me.
Jesus Christ, there's Brussels going crazy.
See, you know, they should have been using like fire hoses and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe this last summer.
Yeah, that might have made sense at a point.
Yeah, 2020. I just wondered, like, you know, it's like, yeah, you see these riot police just standing there, but it's like, I hate to say it, but if it sounds fascist or whatnot, but I mean, when you're burning down private homes and businesses and, you know, where I used to go to college off 11th and Lincoln, I said bring in the fire department, you know, disperse the violent crowd. I mean,
I don't think it's fascism to stop a riot.
Yeah.
It's fascism to do that if there's a protest, right?
Yeah.
And there's a distinct difference between protest and riot, as we all know. Right?
Absolutely.
But
not to Democrats.
Not to, well, yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like they knew. I think they knew if they would stop the riots, any sort of rioting with the fire hose, they're going to immediately pull up right next to it footage from the 1960s.
Right,
you know,
the civil rights movement and using fire hose and dogs.
Yep.
German shepherds and stuff.
Yeah. So instead, they opt for just having, you know, a standing militarized private army look, I guess. So.
HBO Matt dropped in $2 and said, ban the new guy from saying you know. No, I won't, you know. You know? It's fine, you know. You can say you know all you want.
Sorry, bro.
It's all right, bro. Don't worry about it. It's HBO Matt getting offended, not me. As long as you're not drinking into your microphone, we're cool.
Nah, that's what the mute button's for.
Yeah. See? See, Leo? You see? You son of a bitch.
And they wonder why movie theaters are dying.
What's that?
Oh, and they wonder why movie theaters are dying. I hate that noise when I'm watching a movie. Just people going.
Hey, but for my defense, I've been putting myself on mute while I sip. I just didn't do it that one time. Just so you know.
All right, cool.
That's why I said, "Oh damn!" When he said, he was sipping in the mic. I was like, "Oh damn," because I got my headset on. I don't have my mic set up, so it is 1 inch from my mouth. So.
No, you're good, man. Well, we've been going about an hour and 45 minutes, which is, you know, it's about on par for the Gay Frog Chat. So we're going to go ahead and wind it down now. We'll be back tomorrow night with the Guns and Geeks podcast on Matt's channel, who I just realized is not here anymore. Okay.
Oh, he bounced.
Goodbye, Matt.
Bye, Matt.
Yes, he has to go bang the wife for his anniversary.
Yeah.
Well, for their anniversary.
Got to bang her like 17 times, apparently. It's good.
I'm sure it's just not 17 pumps.
Yeah, that's all it is. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Have a good night. Anybody got last thoughts or anything you want to add?
Oh, Chicago is horrible.
Chicago's a hellhole. Yes. Denver's not far behind.
Yep, looking for an escape route out of Denver.
I don't know what the answer is, dude. Me too.
Yeah. I've been managing property out, like, way out in the boonies. Like, yeah, near the San Juan Mountains. That's been pretty good. Yeah, just open land, just managing it.
I wouldn't mind buying, like, 10 acres up in the mountains somewhere that's accessible, which accessible land up in the mountains is not cheap, is the problem.
No.
But it would be nice to have, you know, like good 10 acres of land so you could do something with it. You know, start cutting down trees, making space, doing this, doing that. I don't know.
That's actually what. That's what I've been doing. It's been
would be a fun project, man.
Yeah, it's been because I do construction during the week, you know, like in the metro area, but like, yeah, I've been doing that though on the weekends. That's actually where I've disappeared for a while. I started doing that, you know, just basically making, you know, cutting down dead wood and stuff like that, putting up fences, allowing cattle in and out, stuff like that. So,
well, welcome back anytime, brother.
Thank you.
Right on. And I hope you guys have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.